Okay. Yeah. So I'm Holly, and this is Eva. I was just going to give Eva an update on how the grass is growing and what's going on because she's still in London. So we thought we would press record on our meeting, and we'll show it to you if it doesn't sound really stupid. Yeah. So I went this morning and watered it. I've been watering it twice a day. And it's like this long. And yeah, I don't think any new bits are really growing now. I think everything that's going to sprout has sprouted. But yeah, it's really cool to look at it because it's like the roots are sort of going across and underneath, and it's just really alive in there. I don't know what SBA will think about that. But yeah, like yesterday I found a slug on the potato nest, and it was like biting through one of the arms. It had like bitten off some of the leaves, so I threw it onto the lawn. So I don't know if it probably just crawled straight back on, but yeah, there's like loads of creatures and moles. I really like how it's got its own little ecosystem now. It's like the ants kind of know where they live, and they seem to come out of the potato nest at night and then like walk around. Yeah, I think there must be a little ant's nest in the potato nest, because there's well, it might not be. They might have come from the outside because I did see some in the door like before we even took anything in there. So they might be from outside and just prefer it inside now. But yeah, they're like crawling around at night, and like when I water it, they all like run off of the lawn. It's really funny. It's so good. Yeah. I can't wait for you to see it.
I can't see it. I feel like we're like divorced parents of a child and like splitting the custody.
Yeah, definitely. I keep wanting to, or like I feel like it's more like you're working away.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're the traveling salesman you were talking about.
Oh yeah.
Because yeah, it's very amicable, isn't it? But yeah, I always think about like I want to ring you when I'm watering it and be like, oh, you should see it. Oh my God, this happened. Yeah.
First steps.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to walk on it? Are we going to allow people to walk on it? Because that's like the feeling you just want to like walk barefoot in the grass.
I want people to walk on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe we should ask them to take their shoes off or something. Or is that no? Because Corona. Maybe because Corona they can't. I don't know. We could get them to disinfect their feet. Maybe after, because we don't want alcohol in the grass.
Yeah. Maybe they'll just have to wear socks for like some sort of like foot condoms.
Yeah, like those Veruca socks. Yeah. I was trying to get people to walk on it on Saturday because I've only opened it once last Saturday, and so I think like probably a total of 12 people have been inside now.
That's amazing.
Yeah, very privileged people. Yeah. One lady came in, she'll probably watch this actually, Deborah Roberts, and she said that she'd been in meadows all week, like collecting seeds from wildflowers and wild grasses. And so she was really amazed watching it grow, because she said, although she's always replanting meadows and stuff, she'd never actually seen the grass come out of the seed. So she was like really amazed by watching the roots, the way they move and stuff like that. So that was great.
Yeah, I mean, I think we never expected it to even like hardly sprout, let alone like be a proper lawn.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? Because I really thought it was going to be like a futile gesture, and that's kind of how I wanted it to be. And yeah, but now it's like the bread has more become the futile part, because it's not getting eaten and it's just getting moldier and moldier, and that feels like the really lost time kind of element of it, whereas the grass is like really hopeful, isn't it? Yeah.
It's kind of like this abandoned feeling, I guess, with the bread like molding and this like or not anti-human, but like without humans, and the grass just grows and there's nobody to trample it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I really like it. It's just also like doing its own thing, isn't it? And also when I open the door, the wind comes in a bit delayed, and so you see a breeze outside, and then you see it go up and catch the letters, and they kind of do. I think I posted a video of it to the other day. The letters kind of like do this. What's the word? Like a Mexican wave in the wind, and it kind of looks like a sort of brushing motion as well. So it's so many things that are doing their own thing.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. Should we talk about anything? Maybe you should talk about like the politics of grass, because you kind of brought that up to me, and I'd already I'd thought about that like briefly before, and I think I wrote something about grass before, like thinking about it, kind of comparing it to like like white businessmen in a text once, and then the way that you started talking about it, it really made sense.
Ah, what was the white businessman grass analogy?
Oh, it was just in, I think when I did when I wrote a letter to the Badgers, I was talking about all the grass on my allotment, and how it remind it. I think I just compared it to a white businessman, in that it can just do whatever it wants. It's really successful. Like, you don't have to. It takes no effort, and it just comes up everywhere, and it's like totally dominant.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because it is, yeah, like I was talking about the politics of grass and how it feels like this sort of privileged thing now, like having a lawn.
Mm.
From my tiny London flat, like having a lawn is just like I can't even imagine the luxury.
Yeah.
And having like a green lush lawn that you can afford to like waste water on in
Mm.
this ecological no,
Yeah.
what's the word?
Yeah, no, I think that's the right word, isn't it? And yeah, in this, do you mean like the way the environment is kind of?
Yeah, like in a sense environmental kind of sense of just, yeah, having just like lush green nature around you. It's just like, yeah, you know, that's a
I always
privilege.
think that when I see people watering lawns, I think that's funny when I water the lawn, because yeah, grass, or obviously it's growing out of cardboard in our room, but it doesn't need anything, does it? Like it might die off with, and a lot of it did die off with when it was really dry a couple of months ago, but it just comes back again. Like, it's so privileged to be able to water your grass, and it be that important in your life compared to the rest of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. And like, yeah, it's such a thing to aspire to, isn't it? Which I always find bizarre, that you want this really big green space that like isn't of use to anyone apart from, I get it if you have kids and they want to like run it, but like there's a really big house up around the back of on the common, and it's got this huge lawn in front of it. It's like a football pitch, and it just looks so rubbish, and you just think, if you had like that much money and you had this massive house and this massive lawn, like why why wouldn't you just have like fruit trees? And I it just, yeah, it's baffling. I don't understand, but it is like, it epitomizes kind of human ideals, I think, doesn't it?
Yeah, like a status symbol then.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yes, like you've been putting in a lot of labor, like twice a day going into water it, like in order to have the lush grass. So
Mm.
there's also some time behind it.
Yeah, I suppose there is for us, but then I guess, yeah, I suppose we're maybe pointing out that it seems a silly ideal to us, maybe, in that we're kind of working towards the wrong things, like maybe by doing that kind of ridiculously attentive action. Yeah, maybe we're sort of more highlighting that maybe we should be putting our efforts into something else instead.
Yeah, it's like a knockoff Gucci handbag, like as a status symbol, like
Yeah,
faking the lawn.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Mm.
We can edit out these pauses.
Yeah.
I was just having a look at the text to see if there's anything else that we should be mentioning. Oh, we should definitely talk about your voice, because that is incredible. I haven't got bored of your voice yet, and I know the text off by heart, and I know all the pauses. I look forward to when you say chunky gold ring. It's so good, and I've got it we put it playing out the window, so yeah, you can just stand outside and get the whole have the show narrated by you. It's really cool. But maybe we should talk about what that story means to kind of, or how you think it sits with like the rest of the work, because it sort of it defines the show now. Like that's kind of, it places it for people, I think.
I guess, yeah, that fits, because we were talking about like the human guilt and kind of like the misplaced gestures, like trying to do something. Well, I don't know if I was trying to do something good with that gold ring, but yeah, I guess, yeah, human guilt and kind of doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, because there is a lot of guilt at the moment, isn't there? Like with all the pandemic stuff of kind of not being able to help people, or feeling like your work isn't important. Like, I think a lot of our class, I don't know if we talked about this or not, but you kind of felt really like useless at the start. Like, why am I doing this really self-indulgent thing of trying to make this artwork, until our work kind of adapted to the situation? It just felt really selfish, I thought. And it made me feel very guilty, I think. But yeah, just a lot of guilt about not being able to help, like family and friends, when you're kind of, yeah, you can't just go around and give people a hug. And I think maybe that was like tied up in that story, wasn't it? But I don't know.
That's where your title came from, like the thinking, kind of the longing for just that moment when you're like, ah, okay, I'm old and somebody's just brushing my hair, like longing out of that situation.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like coming through something, whether it's like this imminent thing, or whether it's like just the state of the world in general, but getting to a point where, yeah, it's okay. You made it to old age and you're being looked after. And also, it's like, it's really creepy, isn't it, to think of. I think it's really creepy to have a friend brushing my hair, but maybe that's like, it's uncomfortable getting to this different point where humans aren't in the role that we expect to be in, or something.
Yeah, I think maybe in this show it's like we're talking about both kind of longing for that moment, and also kind of discussing the guilt and the sort of the current feeling. And I think, yeah, so that's kind of the kind of tension between sort of the lush grass and that good feeling, and then the guilty feeling of like selling somebody's old wedding ring to pay your bills.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, why wouldn't you though? If you need it to survive, like, that's, I mean, yeah, it kind of also points out a sort of silly thing about possessions as well, and that kind of ties into the lawn, doesn't it, of like stuff.
Yeah,
Stuff
because like
doesn't actually mean anything.
yeah, because when this wedding ring was a current wedding ring, like it had so much more value, and then just all of a sudden at the sign of a paper it's just left in a cupboard somewhere in Reykjavik. Like that's so strange. The value.
Yeah. And you had that value kind of sort of passed on to you by knowing the story, but at the same time, that guy probably just told you without even thinking about it. It's not your responsibility to then hold that as an important thing, and yet you felt so much guilt about selling it, even though, like, I mean, I would have done that in a flash if I needed to pay the rent.
Yeah,
It's
I
funny.
feel my guilt evaporating.
Good.